From fighting Jose Luis Castillo with an injured arm to the showdown with Shane Mosley that left him hanging in survival mode, Floyd Mayweather Jr. has fought some big fights, and these are some of the toughest battles of his career, starting with Miguel Cotto's strong punches that proved to be a challenge for the American boxer, even though the Puerto Rican was considered past his prime. During that match on May 5th, 2012, the fight was still a tough challenge for Mayweather, and some fans even consider Cotto to be his toughest opponent. Cotto started off strong, putting pressure on Mayweather with his left hook and body shots. He kept the fight on the inside for the first few rounds, but as the fight progressed, Money found his rhythm and started using his jab to keep Cotto at bay. Mayweather's precision punching began to wear his opponent down as the fight went on. In the later rounds, Cotto tried to make a comeback, but Mayweather was too elusive and slick. He would appear and disappear, making it hard for Cotto to land any meaningful shots. Ultimately, Money's combination of offense and defense proved too much for Cotto, and Mayweather won unanimously. Miguel Cotto really gave Floyd Mayweather Jr. a run for his money in that fight. The Puerto Rican star put up a great fight, applying pressure in every round and landing some good shots to Money's body. Cotto's commitment to his body attacks was really impressive, and he even managed to bloody Mayweather's nose. Mayweather definitely had to work hard in every round to come out with the win, just like he had to against his Argentine opponent. It was Marcos Maidana's unconventional style that really gave him a run for his money. Mayweather faced one of the toughest challenges of his career when he went up against the hard-hitting Argentinian Marcos El Chino Maidana. He was highly regarded in the business and had the qualities that many thought were necessary to beat Mayweather, such as relentless pressure and fearlessness in the face of getting hit. It was clear that Money was bothered by Maidana's no-frills offense and roughhouse tactics. Maidana attacked the American with a variety of punches, putting pressure on him throughout the early rounds. But Mayweather was a master strategist and was able to make mid-fight adjustments to neutralize Maidana's threats. By the 6th round that day, on the 3rd of May 2014, Money had figured out Maidana's style, and he began to pick him apart with his precision punching. Even though his opponent did well, it was clear that Mayweather's defense and precision were too much for him in the end. But there was one fight where the result wasn't that straightforward. On September 14, 2013, Mayweather took on Saul Canelo Alvarez. The WBC and the ring light middleweight champion Alvarez was just 23 years old at the time. When head-to-head with Mayweather, even though Canelo was undefeated and ranked as the number one at 154 by Ring Magazine, Mayweather was more experienced and ended up putting on a great performance that night. Despite reportedly weighing 15 pounds more than Mayweather, Canelo could not match him.
Mayweather coming back in that round, using the shoulder roll to prevent him from landing the right hand, and then counters the left hook to the body. That's just brilliant boxing.
And Mayweather won the match with a 12-round majority decision. Interestingly, one of the judges, C.J. Ross, called it a draw, which caused a lot of controversy, and she eventually retired. That match remains the only defeat of Canelo's career.
I thought it was a joke. I was kind of shocked, but I'm not the judge. My job is to go out there, fight, and leave the fight in the judge's hands.
But he still managed to give Mayweather a tough time. Shane Mosley, on the other hand, pushed Mayweather to the ropes. Now, Mosley was a hard hitter who had won 41 of his 49 career fights by knockout, and he definitely had the ability to end the fight early. In the second round, he caught Mayweather with a strong right hand that almost knocked him down. And just a minute later, he landed another right hand that caused Mayweather's knee to wobble. Mosley took advantage of this and backed Mayweather into the ropes, trying to finish the job. Mayweather regained his composure in the following round and went on to dominate the fight. Still, it's not easy getting hit hard in the face, especially when it's by a fighter as skilled and experienced as Mosley. At the end of the day, it was clear who was the winner on the scorecards. But let's be real, it was still a tough fight. In the second round, Mosley unleashed a monster right hand that staggered Mayweather, leaving him holding on for dear life. It was a moment that proved Mayweather's chin was legit, but Mayweather held on until the end of the round. The fight wasn't the toughest when it came to non-stop action, but it was definitely the closest Mayweather had ever come to being knocked out. Even though Mayweather emerged victorious, it was a tough night at the office. Up next is the one that was called the fight of the century. It was when he went up against Manny Pacquiao in 2015. This was a fight that was years in the making, so the hype around it was insane. Sadly, by the time the fight took place, Pacquiao was already on the decline physically. He wasn't as fast as he used to be, and his punches lacked the usual power. Despite this, the fight was still a massive success. It broke records with 4.6 million pay-per-view buys and grossed $600 million in revenue. The live gate alone was worth over $70 million. Both fighters received huge purses from this fight too. Pacquiao earned a guaranteed $120 million, while Mayweather received $180 million. Both fighters also made money from digital receipts, making this one of the richest fights in boxing history. Unfortunately, the fight itself was a bit of a letdown. Mayweather easily won the match, and it was a unanimous decision victory. Pacquiao later revealed that he had a shoulder injury that affected his performance. Despite his efforts to get a rematch, Mayweather refused to give him one. Bud Money has said that it was Pacquiao who was one of the toughest opponents he had ever faced. 2 years later, the fight against Conor McGregor was another highly publicized one. In 2017, Floyd Mayweather and McGregor fought each other on August 26th at the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas, Nevada. During the fight, Mayweather won by TKO in the 10th round, making him the undefeated champion with a 50-0 record. He took his time during the first few rounds to figure out McGregor's game plan, which he revealed in a post-fight interview. McGregor won the first round on all three judges' scorecards, but Mayweather quickly took control of the fight as McGregor began to tire out. By round 9, the Notorious was clearly exhausted and his face was showing redness. In round 10, Mayweather landed some hard shots and the referee stopped the fight, with McGregor barely standing. Conor was praised for landing 111 punches on Mayweather, more than what any of Money's previous 9 opponents had landed. After the fight, Mayweather announced that it was his last fight and praised McGregor as a tough competitor, but he did do a bunch of exhibition matches later on. He went up against YouTuber Jake Paul on the 6th of June 2021 at the Hard Rock Stadium in Miami Gardens, Florida. Before the fight, at a press conference in May 2021, Logan's brother Jake Paul stirred up some trouble by taking Mayweather's hat from his head, which caused an angry brawl to break out, and Mayweather was caught on video threatening to harm Jake. As for the fight, it consisted mainly of clinching initiated by Paul, and there was no winner announced. Mayweather started the fight defensively, avoiding most of Paul's shots and not throwing many punches himself. In the third round, Money finally started to turn up the offense, landing some clean left hooks and mixing in his trademark pull counter with the right hand. Paul began to tire from the fourth round onwards and utilized his weight advantage by tying Mayweather up in the clinch after every exchange. Despite this, Mayweather continued to dictate the pace of the fight and landed cleaner, more effective punches. By the end of the 8th and final round, it was clear that Paul had done enough to avoid being stopped, which was what most people had predicted would happen. In the post-fight interview, Mayweather called Paul a tough, rough competitor who was better than he thought he was, but Paul seemed to doubt whether Money had taken the fight seriously, saying he was going to go home wondering if Mayweather had let him survive. Those were some of the toughest battles that Floyd Mayweather Jr. faced in his iconic career.